Hey guys, SneakieAF here, doing a PvP guide for Assassination Rogue patch 6.2.4. Now in this video I'm going to cover things like your glyphs, talents, macros that I use, a couple of tips and tricks, enchants, and your gear, stuff like that as well. Now bear with me guys, this is my first guide video, so take it easy on me and I hope you enjoy it. Rightio guys, now what we're going to do is we're going to go over a couple of talents that I use. I no way in say that these are the best talents or the go-to talents. These are just the ones, well a couple of them I will say that, but these are the ones that I use and they help me in my PvP. Tier 15, Night Stalker. While stealth you move 20% faster and your abilities do 50% more damage. Useless. Absolutely useless. Who cares? You've got burst of speed. Who cares about the speed increase? Subterfuge. Your abilities required in stealth can be still used for 3 seconds after stealth breaks. Fantastic. You get a garrote, you get a cheap shot, you get that silence, you get that stun, all in the same opener. You get nearly 5 combo points, if not 5 combo points off that. You hit with a rupture, you start regaining energy straight away. It's fantastic. Shadow Focus, another useless ability in my opinion. Tier 30, Deadly Throw, Nerve Strike, and Combat Readiness. Right, now I use Combat Readiness because most of the time when I do twos and things like that, as soon as I pop out of stealth, I will be getting focused. And 90% of the time, it'll be melee. So it is a lot better against melee than Nerve Strike, because if you go Nerve Strike, basically after one of your stun fades, you get a 50% damage reduction from that target for 6 seconds. No one's going to pop their cooldowns as soon as they're out of stealth. You know, for 6 seconds, especially melee, it's not going to happen unless you're versing a very low rated team or something like that. And it's only 6 seconds reduction. I guess you'd swap this out if you're up against a full caster team, especially boomies, because what a lot of boomies like to do after being stunned, they just whatever it is, where they jump across the level and they'll hit you straight away with that instant star surge, I think it is, and it hits hard. So usually they'll do that usually in the first 6 seconds. So I guess against casters you'd use Nerve Strike, Combat Readiness, main go-to against melees, things like that. Tier 45, right, so you've got Cheat Death, Leeching Poisons, and Elusiveness. I use Elusiveness solely because you get a 30% damage reduction every time you use Feint. So when you're running flags in RBGs, when you're spinning a flag, waiting for reses, waiting for backup, basically while you're defending a flag, you can spam this. You got 30% damage reduction. It costs 30 energy. That's nothing, and you get a 4-second 30% damage reduction. So basically, you could sit there, spam, go ahead, do some damage, spam. You know, it's 30%, it's ridiculous. Leeching Poison, don't use it, never use it, the leech is just crap. Cheat Death, if you use it, quit Rogue, basically. Tier 60, Cloak and Dagger, Shadow Step, Burst of Speed. Cloak of Dagger is, I don't know anyone that uses it. I've never used it, so I've got nothing to say about it. Shadow Step, a lot of people use it, and a lot of high rated rogues use it as well. I personally haven't really given it a go or tried to learn it. It's a 20-second cooldown. In my opinion, Burst of Speed's a lot better, especially against like mages or any kind of caster, hunters, things like that constantly have you slowed. It increases your speed by 70%. And removes movement slowing effects. So basically, you know, when you're hitting the Frost Mage, but every time you're slowed down. So you're hitting Burst of Speed, you're catching back up, it's great. If you did take Shadow Step, yeah, they blink your Shadow Step, then you wait 20 seconds while you're running slowed. Burst of Speed's fantastic, flag carrying, everything like that. It's my go-to anyway. 75, Prey on the Weak, Internal Bleeding, and Dirty Tricks. Now, I know a couple of people that do use internal bleeding. I guess it is a pretty good damage over time while you're stunning, things like that. Dirty Tricks is pretty good in comps where you know you'll have to be CCing a lot of healers or people like that you've hit previously. You've got poisons on them. You know you're not going to waste a blind CC because the poison breaks it basically. But in my opinion, Prey of the Week increased damage by 10% while the player is stunned. So a lot of time when you do hit your death from aboves, they will be stunned. You know, you open, you hit him with a garrote, you hit him with a cheap shot, you've pretty much got 5 points from there. What I do then is I'll kidney shot, mark from the death, Vendetta, death from above. Solely because while they're stunned, death from above really can't be, stopped by defensives like AMS and things like that. Plus the 10%, you can get up to like 220, 230k crits on characters, which is fantastic. We'll talk more about death from above later though. Level 90, Shuriken Toss, mark from the death, Anticipation. Shuriken Toss, never used it, looks crap, won't use it. Mark from the death is what I use. Mark for death, sorry, I should say. Now, marks the target, instantly generating 5 combo points. Cooldown resets if the target dies within a minute. A lot of the time, your target will die within a minute, and you get an extra 3 combo points. You can use this offensively or defensively. If you might have to Cloak of Shadows, vanish, you got no combo points, you need some health, you mark from death, enemy 1 for say, bang, recuperate, you're getting some health back. You can also use it, like I said before, offensively. Open up with a cheap shot and a garrote, even just a cheap shot, stun him again, mark for death, death from above, mark for death, rupture. You just find yourself, once you start using it, you find yourself using it pretty much in everything you do. Anticipation, it's more of a newbie start to learn Mark of the Death. It lets your combo points build up basically, so you can get a total of 10. In my opinion, you end up getting lost in your combo count, in your tracking and things like that. You think you've got more than what you don't. You don't think you've got more than what you do, and you end up stuffing up your rotation because you're overthinking, because you got 10 combo points to manage. I used it when I first started Rogue, used it for a bit, learnt Mark for Death, never went back. Rightio, level 100, Venom Rush, Shadow Reflection, Death from Above. I'm not even going to talk about it. Death from Above is fantastic. It's the only thing I'll use. There are a couple of things that you do need to know about from Death from Above. One, when you're in mid-air from a Death from Above, you can get gripped by DKs, and I've had this happen, and they have to be pretty quick. So here we go. So when you're in mid-air, gripped. It's a bit of a pain, things like that. Now, another thing is, if you don't have that enemy stunned, it gives them a chance while you're in mid-air to pop things like AMS, deterrence, Iron Bark, things like that, that'll decrease your damage by heaps. And it's not fun to see Death from Above, neutralized by 50%. Basically, you want to see them 220k crits, you want to see them 180k crits on full geared players and things like that. It's just too fun to have ruined. So you got to make sure you have that character stunned, or at least their AMS and things like that are off cooldown. So you just got to be a bit wary with it, but it's a fantastic talent, and it's the only thing I'll use basically in Assassination. Rightio guys, so we're going to talk about some glyphs, why I use them, when to use them, and why I swap them out basically. Glyph of Cloak of Shadows is something that I usually leave in there most of the time. So what it does is, while Cloak of Shadows is active, it gives you 40% less physical damage reduction as well. So it's great just for survivability as a rogue. We are squishy. Especially if you're getting hit on by a DK or a warrior, you do tend to get hit on pretty hard if you haven't got evasion up or something like that. The next one is Glyph of Energy. Gives you maximum energy of 20, so it gives you 140 total energy. If you find yourself being energy starved, I suggest using this, but you will swap it out for a lot of other talents. You won't use it most of the times, but it's a pretty good talent. Glyph, sorry. The next one is Glyph of Cheap Shot. So it increases your cheap shot from 4 second stun to a 4.5 second stun. I tend to use this a lot in duels and just your standard random BGs and stuff like that. 0.5 seconds doesn't seem like much, but it is a game changer. It gives you just that little bit extra time of to get some globals down, to get your cheap shot, your kidney shots up and things like that, so it's pretty good. But you will find that you will swap that out a lot as well. So one that you will swap it out to will be Glyph of Blind. So essentially what Glyph of Blind does is it takes the dots off your enemy. So if I go up here and I hit him a couple times, alright, so I've got my deadly poison on him, oh shit, I need to blind him. He's blind, it's removed the dots, he's going to get the full CC, which is great. You'll find yourself using this a lot more than cheap shot, and it is just it's a pretty much you must have this in your glyphs, basically ready to swip and swap. Your next one that you're going to swap out is Glyph of Feint. So basically it increases the duration of Feint by 2 seconds, so it gives you a 6 seconds 30% damage reduction, which is great if you're running flags. So if I'm going to be running flags in rated BGs, I'll have Cloak of Shadows, Feint, and Recovery. So what Recovery does is while you have Recoup active, you gain 20% increased healing from all other sources. So your healers are going to increase their healing on you by 20%, while you're also reducing your damage by 30, reducing your physical damage by 40, 30, you're going to be pretty hard to kill. Plus you've got your evasion, preparation, evasion. So that's pretty much what everyone uses rogues as flag characters, because you've just got so much survivability and mobility and things like that. Other than that, guys, there's not much else really that you'd use. I guess Glyph of Stealth, I used to use that a fair bit, just because I hate having to run out of combat and wait 6 seconds to get back into stealth, but I don't really find myself using it much anymore. Glyph of Vendetta, things like that, you don't really want to use, or I guess it's personal preference when it comes to this point. As for your minor glyphs, there's nothing really you want to take besides safe fall. Basically, you can fall from higher places without copying so much damage, basically. Other than that, Glyph of Safe Fall, Glyph of Decoy, just throws a little decoy when you vanish. It's pretty cool. And Glyph of Disguise. So basically, if you pickpocket a humanoid, you copy their appearance. So they're all just aesthetical and just playthings, basically. So that's what I want to do now, is talk about some stats, gear and enchants, things like that. So if you're new to Rogue and you've googled it, what to stack, you'll get a lot of things like Noxic and stuff like that, telling you to stack crit and multi-strike and things like that. Now, in my personal opinion, and in a lot of people's opinion, that's wrong. Crit, like, don't get me wrong, yeah, getting some crits is good fun and whatnot. But Mastery, on the other hand, it increases your base damage of your poisons. Now, your main damaging is Envenom, Deadly Poison, and Death from Above, which is just Envenom on steroids, basically. So, 114% Mastery increases my damage of poisons by 114%. I'd rather that than occasionally critting more. That's when you're seeing your 220, 230k Envenoms, or Death from Aboves. So in my opinion, it's Mastery, Versatility, then you go into your crit, haste, things like that. But it's pretty much Mastery and Versatility is what you want to stack. As for your gear, you want to get your head off piece, your helm off piece, I should say, because it's just straight Versatility and Mastery. As for the rest, you do want to have, you don't want to miss out on your 4-set bonus, basically, because Vanish will give you, what is it? Vanish gives you 5 combo points, so you can use this both offensively and defensively now. say you're energy starved, you want to get a stun on him. You haven't got any mutilates up. Your recuperates run out, and you haven't got enough to give you another rupture. Sorry, not recuperate, rupture. Or on the other hand, you do want to get a recuperate, something like that. You can just in the middle of battle, blah blah blah. So we'll get ourselves starved. Oh no, we're starved. Pop, stun. Vanish, recuperate. And you can use, the best thing with preparation is you can use it twice. So bang, bang, bang. Now I've got to heal up as well. Back in. It gives you time to get your energy back up. It gives you time to get some stuns, to get some heals off. It's great. You don't want to miss out on it. I do see a lot of rogues that only run your free set, and I don't know. I love using my Vanish a lot now. I realise I'm using it a lot in offensively. So you want to get that. As for your enchants and stuff like that, I just go flat mastery. Don't worry about anything else, just flat mastery. On your weapons, you get Market of Bleeding Hollow, so it procs, it gives you a certain amount, 500 mastery. You usually get double proc, which that brings me to 147 in PvP. You're nearly 200+%, so it's 200 increased damage, for your envenoms or your death from buffs, things like that. It's what you want. Now, with your trinket, I've been told by a lot of people that this is wrong, and it probably is, but I'm just too much of a sucker for mastery to let it go. Like, I got more than enough to buy the other one. I haven't really done any testing or anything to see which is the better option. I just stick to it. It works at the moment, so yeah. But I do use the on use. I see a couple of rogues out there that have the proc trinkets and stuff like that. You don't really want to use that solely because it's harder to marry up with your Vendetta and your death from aboves, things like that. Now your trinket, you want versatility. That's standard. You just want versatility. 875 versatility. It's huge damage increase. It's fantastic. Other than that, I haven't got my boots done. Other than that, that's pretty much it for your gear guide, guys. So just your helm. Quick recap. You want your helm, off piece, 4 cap, 4 set. Probably shouldn't use that anyway. And versatility. So that's it for this part, guys. The next thing I'm going to go over is a couple of macros I like to use. I guess I'll start off first. It's death from above, mouse over. So basically sometimes, well, a lot of the times in arenas you'll find yourself swapping targets. So you're hitting this target here and you get called out to swap over to the other. So you run over, you hit it, spamable, death from above. Instead of having a tab target, which a lot of people, you just got to get that out of your mind to tab target, because you end up having pets and God knows what else. It never works properly. So that's a fantastic one. So these macros, I'll link them in the description. And these are all thanks just to the WoW forums, man. So I didn't create any of these. These are all done by people way more smarter than me. Your next one will be a spammable sap mouse over as well. So basically same situation. I don't think you can sap these things here, but yeah, it's just the same thing, man, as sap, which is great because you find yourself chasing and sapping, and it's just easier just to sap like this. Now mouse over blind as well. So the good thing about this macro as well is that, if you happen just to have your cursor on a dead character or anything like that, or a pet, or I shouldn't say pet, but anything, it's still at least going to blind your current. There's a lot of them out there, macros that aren't written properly, that will basically just not work. If you're mousing over something and you've got a current target, it still won't blind the other one. So this macro is good for that because it will still blind your current target. That brings me to my one-shot macro. Oh, not really one-shot, but my Trink Pot macro. So basically, show tooltip Vendetta, cast Vendetta. It uses my on-use trinket as well. Pops my racial, and if I do have the flasks. I've got that in there anyway, just for in duels and things like that against the boys and whatever. You can just really give it to them. So that's pretty much all the macros I use. I don't use, I don't flood my bars with 4 different types of macros for this and 4 different types of macros for that. You don't really tend to need them much for rogues. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much it for macros. Like I said, I'll post them in the description so you can just copy and paste them and use them as you please. Rightio, guys, so that's pretty much the video done. If there is anything that I have forgotten, throw it in the comments. If there's anything that you think I can do to better myself as a rogue, I'm open to suggestions, man. Throw them in the comments, let me know. Other than that, guys, there's a couple of other things that I'd like just to go over quickly. A lot of things that I realise and see that rogues don't do too often. One of those things is gouge. Now, gouge it's a couple of things basically. It's a 4-second incapacitate, it's a second kick, it's a shit get me out of here move, it's Pally's just he's just popped wings on you. You need to get out of there. You gouge, you sprint, and you get out of there. You've just kicked the mage from polying, he's going instant poly again, you gouge him, it gives you that 5-second increase, that 4-second gap basically in doing it, and it's a double kick. Hopefully he'll give up on doing it. If not, cheap him, get into him. The other thing I guess is Shiv. So what Shiv does, it diffuses in rage. So a lot of warriors, especially Fury, will run Avatar, and BM hunters have Bestial Wrath. If you see that getting popped, it takes that to diffuse it. That's it. It's pretty much that easy, and I see it all the time. I see rogues not diffusing the enrage, and they've got the ability right there. Another one as well, sorry, I guess, is Smoke Bomb. A lot of people don't use it for, defensively or as well as offensively. Hypothetically, you're in a battle, someone's attacking you, you're getting smashed on, you need to heal up, you need to get back into stealth, things like that. You hit him with a mark, you get to recuperate, you hit him with a gouge, you run. You extend that gap away from that player, you extend it away, you drop a smoke bomb. It's taking them all that time to get to you. Hopefully the dots on you have dropped, you jump back into stealth. It's defensive, it's awesome. Like I said, a lot of people, you don't see them use it properly. Other than that, guys, that's it. If you enjoyed my first guide video, give us a like. Now this channel is a guild channel, so we've got a lot of players in here that are 2500 rating plus. And they've got awesome videos coming out. I know that our guild leader's got an awesome disc priest guide, and he's got some other pointers and things like that as well. We've got another couple of guys in here that are elemental shamans, fire mages, things like that are just rocking it with their movies, man. So subscribe up, watch the other videos. You won't be disappointed. There's going to be a lot of new content coming out from us as a guild. We've only just kind of started up, but watch out for the future, man. There's going to be tons of movies and stuff like that coming out from us, especially coming to the end of this and into the start of Legion, when we all come back together as a guild and do some serious PvPing. Other than that, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.